There is a new report out about coronavirus in vaccinated people. And unfortunately, as a combination of some poorly written headlines, as well as people who maybe just are not understanding the math of what's being reported, there are people reading about this and saying, oh no, the vaccines don't work. I believe that a lot of these folks are just misunderstanding the math. Now, the new report from the CDC explains that out of 77 million vaccinated people in the United States, it's believed that there have been 5,800 infections, 396 people who required hospitalization, and 74 people who died. And then some of the headlines fomented what was the reaction from many individuals who thought, oh no, the vaccine isn't 100% effective, which we knew. No vaccine is 100% effective. Another reaction was, wow, even vaccinated, you could end up in the hospital if you get the virus. And of course, we knew that as well. These are incredibly powerful, efficacious numbers. Of the 77 million vaccinated people, 0.000096% died. And this is pointing to being one of the most effective vaccination programs once we are at full strength that humanity has ever seen. Vaccines are not 100% protection. I don't know how much more that has to be said. The baseline would never be, this is only good if no one ever gets sick. It's an impossible goal. It's an unreasonable goal. To see this data and to come away thinking the vaccine doesn't work is horrifying, because this data is really telling us how effectively the vaccines do work. And then this gets to a lot of black and white thinking that has been a problem during the pandemic on masks. Remember, do the masks work or don't they? Either they do or they don't. They either work perfectly or they don't work at all. Well, no, it's a percentage. If one person has a mask, you're reducing, in a physical sense, with a physical barrier, the spread of the virus. If two people have a mask, well, then you're reducing it even further. The vaccine, it's not 100%. We understand that. If one person in an interaction is vaccinated, the possibility of spread goes down because the vaccinated person is 90% less likely to spread and 92 to 95% less likely to get it. So if they're less likely to give it to the unvaccinated person, they're less likely to get it from the unvaccinated person. If you have two people interacting who are vaccinated, the possibility of the spread is even smaller. And if someone were to get it of the vaccinated people, it would be less serious. And if it were serious, you would be less likely to die. These are confidence intervals. That's how everything works. This really is some of the best news that we could have hoped for. And it's important to know that there's actually, these numbers may improve over time. On the one hand, it's true that of those 77 million vaccinated people, over time, as more of those individuals are out in the world and are potentially exposed, some more of them are going to get the virus. That's true. But as more people get vaccinated, the interactions that cohort of 77 million has is going to increasingly be with vaccinated people. And that's going to reduce the contagion even further. So we're dealing with a lot of different things right now. We've got the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Countries and the U.S. are still figuring out, to some degree, supply and distribution. We are waiting to see, because cases have just been trickling up, although deaths have been continuing down, as we said yesterday or the day before. We're waiting to see, when will we really see the drop in cases that Israel saw. Israel saw it somewhere between 50 and 55% vaccinated. We're probably a month from that in the United States. Some states are closer, sadly, because of vaccine hesitancy. Some states are further away. But the important takeaway is how insanely effective these vaccines are. The CDC data confirms that and restates that, and that should really be the focus. And as we talked about earlier this week, and we're going to look at tomorrow, anti-vax sentiment is declining. It's not as low as we would like. The latest Monmouth poll says 20% of Americans don't want to get the vaccine if they can avoid it, which I guess means if they need to get it for their job, some of them would. 1 out of 5. That actually is enough to get us to herd immunity, but that's only from adults, and adults don't include kids. So if we get to 80% of the total population, we will actually be good. And we'll look into this in more detail tomorrow. The anti-vax sentiment being led by Republicans. 43% of Republicans say they do not want the coronavirus vaccine. So we'll dig into those numbers tomorrow. But the latest CDC data on COVID and vaccinated people, extremely, extremely reassuring data. That is really the takeaway. When you see me sitting here at the microphone, oftentimes I'm wearing a shirt by a company called Teddy Stratford. And I love these shirts so much that I asked Teddy Stratford to be a sponsor of the show. And here's why I like their shirts so much. With other slim fit button-up shirts, you often get this weird looking gap between the buttons where it looks kind of stretched out. But Teddy Stratford actually has a patented zipper that's hidden underneath the buttons, which secures the shirt against your chest so it doesn't look stretched. And most importantly, it just provides a nicer looking fit overall. And the entire shirt is specially designed to really improve the way your upper body looks when you're wearing it. It also has a special type of collar that prevents it from drooping down and spreading open, which is another really great thing about these shirts. All of these things really do a lot to make a big difference when you're looking at a shirt. And that's why I like to wear Teddy Stratford shirts on the show. Go check them out at davidpakman.com/Teddy. The link is down below and they'll give you 15% off your first order if you use the coupon code PAKMAN at checkout.